It's about the restoration of our republic. We want to educate, encourage, enable the power. We stand for integrity, honesty, self-reliance, self-defense, and most importantly, no compromise on our foundational principles. This is America's Voice Now.
Find America's Voice Now on Facebook and at americasvoicenow.org. Here's Michael Evans.
Good morning, America. You're listening to America's Voice Now. My name is Michael Evans. I'm the host here. Glad to have you on board. If you're one of those folks that's joining us live on our website, great to see you out there. I see Scurry. I'm not sure where Scurry is, but I see it. I see Lincoln, Nebraska. I see Branson. I see Bowling Green. I see Gainesville. I think that's out in Maryland. I see, let's see, that. Well, I don't know why I can't. Oh, Sioux Falls. I see California. I see, let's see, it looks like Dallas area. Well, I don't know. Florida. I see Michigan area or Chicago area. Thanks very much for joining with us. Great to have you folks on board, and all the rest of you whose name or cities I didn't mention. Doesn't mean I'm leaving you out. Just means that I can't spend all morning reading them. Hey, for the record, by the way, I have been getting a lot of email from people that are telling me that our YouTube channel has been consistently having the number of viewers reduced. And I noticed it the other day. I logged on an hour after the program had started, just to show you so you understand how bad the Ministry of Propaganda is here. They'll do anything to silence the voices of alternative media. I have stuff removed off our Facebook page all the time, which is one of the reasons why you should be going to Patriot FB and Constitution Club. But more importantly, this thing on YouTube is really bothering me because I logged on, I upload the videos after the program, and within an hour or so, I go on and I just check and make sure that they all made it up there and that they all got posted. I've had scenarios where they didn't publish them all and what have you. And I noticed that there were about 40 views on there. And I clicked through to that given particular video so that I could respond to a comment someone had put there. And suddenly, there were 31. Now, this was within an hour of posting the video. And, when you say, well, I mean, what's the big deal? It's only 9. No, it's been consistent across the board on all the videos. And some days, it's so dramatic that some of the videos only get 30 or 40 views. When I know for a fact that I've gotten more than that because I've seen the comments and I've seen the people that have forwarded it. I mean, they're blatant about it. They don't even care. They're not even trying to hide it. It's open, blatant censorship. And, of course, the goal is that when it looks like nobody's viewing a video, there's no momentum, there's no virality. So they just basically, people are like, oh, I guess, So they don't watch it. That's the whole idea. When you click onto certain people's videos, the whole list on the right side will be all of their videos. When you click on one of mine, it's interspersed with a whole bunch of other people's stuff. The algorithms that Google, who owns YouTube, is setting is specifically designed and geared to either advance you to see more from that particular person and that channel that you're on, or misdirect you and mislead you off on something else. And that's why all of the stuff on the right is not my stuff, because they want you off my channel. Just saying. I'm not crying in my own soup here, and this ain't sour grapes, folks. These are just facts. In fact, the other day after I mentioned this, I must have gotten 8 or 9 emails from people who all said, I've been noticing it too. So, and these are, some of these people I didn't even know. In fact, I got an email from one guy. I've never even seen his email before. I've never heard from him before. I had no idea he was watching the program. And he sent me an email and he said, I watch your stuff every day, and I noticed that the click counts have been dropping dramatically. Anyway, all right, enough of that. The point is simply this, folks. everybody who's on the left is doing their darndest to make sure that you are kept in the dark, that you are a couch potato. You know, you're a mushroom. You're kept in the dark and you're fed BS. That's the simple reality of it. We're going to talk about 4 different subjects or topics this morning, and they're important ones. The first one is the issue of the Ministry of Propaganda and how they are silent on this criminal activity that's going on with the release of these illegal criminal immigrants. Illegal criminal immigrants. They're not undocumented. They are not good citizens. They are illegal. They are criminals. They have violated our borders. They have violated our laws. They violate our wives and our children, our husbands and our families, our communities, our cities, our hospitals, our schools. They are violators. Out! Too harsh, you say? Tough. It's about time America took a tough stance on this. Let me tell you something. Go out there and do a search on the criminal release of 36,000 criminals, illegal aliens, all of them. And watch how much of that comes up and has the name Wall Street Journal, New York Times, Chicago, LA Times, Chicago Tribune on there. None of them. You get stuff like WorldNet Daily. You'll get stuff out there like Breitbart. You'll get stuff out there that's all the alternative media. But you'll see very, very little out there about from the mainstream media. I found an article on CBS this morning, and they actually gave the counts out. I was stunned. It's rare. Now, it was a CBS local. It wasn't CBS on a national level. You know, here's the problem. I addressed this issue yesterday extensively. 36,000 criminal illegals released. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the problem. If you look at it this way, you're going to watch, and I want you to watch and be careful because you're going to see how the media tries to hide this. But if a president willfully, if a president knowingly, if a president intentionally causes the criminals to be released among us, knowing full well that that criminal element will commit further crimes and that person is ultimately then responsible for that, is that a violation of that person's oath of office? If a shepherd intentionally releases wolves into the sheep pen, has he violated his duty? Of course he has. You're going to see, and by the way, I got to tell you, the left is going to come out on a storm on this to try, if it ever makes the mainstream media. First of all, they're trying to keep it quiet. They don't want these reports exposed. These were reports that came out from the Center for Immigration Studies. And, you know, when I addressed this yesterday, I exposed to you the fact that, and I read off the count of the crimes that these people had committed. And the alternative media is all over this like a hobo on a ham sandwich, all right? They're on this like white on rice. They want to make sure that it's exposed. But the Ministry of Propaganda, the progressives, the left, and all of these organizations, all the mainstream media groups, and Fox did cover it yesterday, but I never give Fox a pass because, you know, in one regard they cover it, and then in another regard they do everything they can to cover it up. But the pro-amnesty crowd is going to come out there, and they're going to try to defend this. And I got to tell you, folks, it is time for you to begin to take an active role and an active position as an activist. It's not enough for, you know, my son and I were having a conversation about this last night as we watched a news article about it. My son's 16, going on 17. One of my sons. And we were looking at this, and we were talking about the idea of activism. And he made a very, very telling point. It was stunning to me, startling to me. He said to me, Dad, you know, these people who think they're activists because they have a blog out there and they write an article that nobody sees, that's not activism. Activism is what the left does. Activism is when they get out there and they actively protest and they speak in public, when they fight in a public forum where it's visible to many. That's activism. He said, why is it that the conservatives in the nation, the conservative political arena, they're the worst marketers in the world? Now, these are business people. This is what he said to me. It was refreshing. He said, now these are supposed to be the business people, right? Everybody throws the conservatives out saying, oh, these are the business tycoons and so on and so on. But they're the worst marketers. They don't advertise their product. When they do, they advertise it in a way that makes you not want to buy it. Almost willful, it seems. Well, let me tell you, it's time that you, as an American, began to change the paradigm of this. You don't wait for these idiots up on Capitol Hill to do it for you, because they're never going to do it for you. They've already shown all the betrayal, all of the Judas goat that you need to see from them to know that they are never going to help you. They're interested only in maintaining their power and your ultimate demise or enslavement. And they don't really care which. There's plenty of us out there. So whether or not you're enslaved or you become the problem that they have to eliminate, they couldn't really care less. There's enough that will kowtow, kneel down, and accept the chains that they don't really care about you personally. But you can help defeat amnesty. And you better take an action right now to make sure that this does not get done until after the election in 2014. And I got to tell you why. One, first of all, this traitorous gang of 8 that's been out there pushing this nonsense, these people are a combination of both Republicans and Democrats. But they're traitors, all of them, the lot. Look at who they are. I mean, you're talking about McCain and you're talking about Lindsey Graham. Come on, you got to be kidding me. That liver-lipped piece of trash. I mean, he's no Republican. He's no conservative. He's not even... Anyway, here's the point. How are you going to fight this? Well, let me tell you how we're going to fight this. And I'm expecting you to be an army active. Here's how you're going to do it. You're going to take some of these articles that I post up, and you're going to take them, and you don't have to be articulate. You don't have to be, real effusive. You don't have to be, some great and magnificent orator. All you've got to do is take one or two of these articles and put up a link on a piece of paper, cut and paste it into a Word document or whatever piece of software you've got, and take the list of the crimes that have been convicted, that these 36,000 criminal aliens have been convicted of, and then I want you to print out 100 of them. Go down to the store and buy yourself a ream of paper. It's 500 pieces of paper. And I'd like you to spend $12 on a print cartridge, no color, just black and white. Make 100 pieces. If you can make 500, make 500. And then carry them around with you. And you better start sharing them in your church. You better start sharing them in your school, at your work. You can post it up on a billboard in a store. When you go into the store, the grocery store, there's billboards all over the wall for people who want to give away puppies and sell a motorcycle. Stick it up on the billboard. And then swing back the next day and make sure that you check it and put another one up when some amnesty apologist yanks it down. You can sit there and have a couple of them rolled up in your pocket. And when you're standing there in the line at the store and you're talking to somebody who's behind you in the line, and if you're not talking to somebody in the line behind you, then you've missed an opportunity. Your job as right now is a verbal warrior. A verbal warrior. Use the tools, use the weapon, use the skill set that you have. What is that weapon? Your mouth. I can't talk like you. I've heard that a million times. Okay, great. Then don't talk like me. Just make sure it's printed out on a piece of paper so that any knucklehead that reads it gets it. And hand them the piece of paper and say, did you know about this? Make sure if you're smart that you put the number and the phone number and the name and the email address of your Congress rep and your two senators on the paper. And then say, we can stop this by calling these people. Would you be willing to do that? You can go to a town council meeting. You can go to a school board meeting. And you don't even have to go to the school board meeting. You don't have to attend the meeting. Just go there and hand these pieces of paper out to people that are at the meeting. Find where people are and hand them out. Do you run a business? Put 50 of these on a counter. And every person who walks in, just slide one across and say, I just thought you might want to know this. Are you doing your part? You can bring a pile to a political function. We're in a political year. You can walk. I mean, who better than politically involved people for you to talk to? Who better? You can sit there with a pile of these and go to a political function. Go to a political function for a party you don't even like. You want to get smart about it? Bring yourself one of these little microphones and a speaker thing or a megaphone and stand outside so that they can't accuse you of doing something wrong. And set up, I don't care if you wear a sandwich sign or whatever it is that you got to do, stand there with a poster and hand these out. Bring a bullhorn. Make noise. America, arise and be counted. Be counted. Be fierce and be fearless. Be courageous and speak out. Especially when your voice shakes with fear. If you're not willing to do that, then you are not part of our solution. You are part of our problem. Don't let your apathy make you, or your fear, make you stand on the side. You're a leader. I don't care if you're a leader of one. You're a leader. Act like one. Take the initiative and do something. Well, I'm embarrassed to do that. Are you going to be embarrassed when you're outvoted by a bunch of illegals who don't belong here and steal your country from you? You should be more embarrassed to show your family and your friends and your coworkers and your associates that you don't have the balls to do anything. Now that's embarrassing. Here's the deal, folks. You're either going to fight now when the risk to you is low, and I mean low. What is the risk? That somebody's going to say something mean to you? Oh, you shrinking violet. I feel so bad for you. What? You're going to be what? Shamed into silence? Is that what you're afraid of? You got to be kidding me. What? Cuz somebody says, "Why? Everybody should have a right to be here." No, they shouldn't. Prove me why. Here's reason why I think you're wrong. And when the next person in line looks over to see what the commotion is, hand them one. Why are you afraid, America? Why are you letting your fear steal your country? Fear of what? Fear of what? Fear of someone saying something not nice to you? Fear that someone may get violent with you because you're handing this out? Well, guess what? If someone gets violent with you and says, now you get out of here or I'm going to knock your lights out, that's all the proof that you need that you're right. Why would you stand silently by and watch America's Got Talent or some soap operatic nonsense crap you're watching on TV? Stand in front of a store and hand out flyers to every person that comes. Go to the local food store. Go to the local shopping center. Go to a mall and just stand there and hand out hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these. Will people yell at you? So what? So what? Do you have an obligation to preserve and save this country for the children that you have said or thought at some point in your life, I will do whatever it takes, I would kill to protect my child? Really? You would? You mean to tell me you would kill to protect your child? You, the same person who's afraid to go stand in front of a store and hand out a flyer? How tough are you? You see, the shame of this is that we're responsible for allowing this to happen. If you wake them up on this issue and you strike a nerve, how do you know that they won't become the next leader? How do you know that the next Billy Graham of anti-immigration isn't in the crowd that you handed a sheet or a flyer to? How do you know? How do you know that the next Charlton Heston of NRA fame, but someone who will proselytize and argue and forcibly take the position and make a difference, isn't one of the people that you brought to awareness, you awakened? If you're a parent, you've said at some point, or you've thought to yourself at some point, I'd give my life for my kid. Really? Let me tell you something. It may come to that. But I don't believe you. You know why I don't believe you? Because you won't stand in front of a mall with a piece of paper. And if you won't do that, then you surely won't give your life for your child. I'm tired of Americans who talk big and don't do anything. If you are not going to fight, then shut up and go home. But I got to tell you, no more empty words, no more nonsense. You're either in this with us or you're against us. It's that simple. What do you have to do to be with us? You have to help. You have to help. Whatever small way. You're a leader. I don't care if you're a leader of one. When you're standing in that grocery store line and you hand that flyer to the guy or the gal behind you, then you're a leader of one. If you stand in front of a crowd at your church and you expose this and you talk about it on a Tuesday night meeting, then you're a leader of however many are sitting out there in the pews. If you show this to 5 guys at work, you're a leader of 5. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. I got to tell you, Friday, May 16th, if you're local in our area here, there is a dinner being held for a young boy who has been diagnosed with Langerhans cell histiocytosis. That's a rare form of cancer. His family travels to St. Louis for medical treatment every week, and they're going to be holding a spaghetti supper at the Willow Springs Police and Fire Department. It's going to be $5 a plate, and it'll include spaghetti, meatballs, vegetable drink, and so forth and so on. And it's going to be held at the fire department. If you want to bring a dessert to donate, they're going to have a Chinese auction or a silent auction later on. If you want to donate and you're a local business person and you want to, or you want to just donate some money, you can do that. If you're a local business and you want to donate a product that they can auction off, please do that. If you want to, you can call the Willow Springs Police Department, and you can call Chief Dunn, Chief Foster, or you can call City Hall in Willow Springs for questions or to ask any further information about how you can help this young fella. Team Owen is what this is being called. Make sure that you're a part of it. We'll be back in just a moment. You're listening to America's Voice Now.